Happy Friday, Careblazers. I wanted to pop in and do a quick live video on something that has really been on my mind in terms of something that can help any dementia caregiver have more peace and comfort and success in caregiving. That is this idea that caregiving will be hard, there will be struggles. And sometimes it seems like when we are faced with those struggles and challenges, we get super frustrated and upset because we have this idea that it shouldn't be so challenging and it shouldn't be so difficult. And if you have ever had the thought go through your mind, it's too hard, it's not that easy. When you have those thoughts, I want you to like that to be a little red flag for you. I bet, like right now, ask yourself, think about something in caregiving you've had a struggle with, and then ask yourself how you feel when you have the thought, I wish it was easier, or it's not that easy. I guarantee most people feel worse after having a thought like that. Yet we have these thoughts all the time. So sometimes you are going to try a new approach in dementia care. You are going to try to redirect your loved one, maybe try to get them to take a shower, maybe try to implement some new tip that you saw or heard about. And when you do, probably the first time it's not going to go so well. It's not going to be very smooth. It's going to be a bit of a struggle. It's going to be a challenge. Be careful what you say to yourself in those moments because when you have a thought, it's too hard, it's not easy enough, it's not easy, that is going to keep you stuck. Nothing about caregiving, I would say, is easy. Can we do things to make it easier? Absolutely. Can we do things to make things more simple? Absolutely. But the first place to start before anything else is to start with what you're telling yourself in your own mind. Because if you are telling yourself that it's never going to get better, nothing's ever going to work, this is too hard, it should be easier, we can already know before you get started, it's not going to be that great. I want you to think about well, there's a couple examples we can use here or metaphors. When you were learning how to walk as a child, as a little baby, you fell down so many times. Walking was a struggle, walking was hard. But all of those falls, all of those failures of not being able to walk, that built up your muscles and your strength to be able to walk. And that's why now all of us can walk without even thinking about it. And we can walk while talking on the phone and eating food and all of those things. It's like second nature because of all of the practice you had. You never started out knowing how to walk. Sometimes I think about the metaphor of the caterpillar and the butterfly. And when the caterpillar's in the cocoon becoming a butterfly, that butterfly has to struggle to get out of the cocoon. And if somebody came in and tried to open up the cocoon to help the butterfly out, the butterfly would get out of the cocoon and not be able to fly because it did not build up the strength of the wings. And I want to make sure all of us understand the same is true for us. Here's the big message. Wishing life was easier will make your life harder. Wishing caregiving was easier will make your life harder. Why is that? Because when you have the thought or the wish, I wish this was easier, it's going to lead to discouragement, disappointment, hopelessness, frustration. In order to do that, just take a moment to integrate that into yourself, like and see how that feels in yourself. We are doing this all the time and we don't realize we are somebody's that's holding us back from getting to that success that we want. I just got done. The reason I decided to hop on here real quick is I just got done recording a short video. It's a private, I send out a message every Monday. It's a private message to my care course members. And every week I have a new message for them to work on. And part of it is that in order to have success in caregiving, there are three stages you have to go through. That first stage is the struggle phase. It's the awkward phase. It's the I don't know what I'm doing phase. And that is going to, what you do in that first stage, that's going to determine whether or not you ever get the success you want to see. So many people meet that struggle phase, that challenge phase, that awkward phase, and they stop. They think they can't get through it. They think it's never going to work. And because of that, they don't get through it and they never meet that success stage. That's the person who looks at other Careblazers and hears their stories and thinks, oh my gosh, they must have it easier. They must have it luckier. They must be more lucky, or, that can never happen to them. And they use that against themselves to bring them down. But the truth is, it's just that those people stayed with the struggle long enough to get to the success. Just like you fell enough times to build up the strength to be able to walk when you were a child, when you were an infant. The only thing that worked to your advantage back then is you didn't have all the negative thoughts going through your mind telling you, you can't do this, it's never going to work. Oh my gosh, you've fallen 1,000 times and you haven't even walked yet. You might as well give up. We didn't have those thoughts when we were infants. We have them now, and we need to be careful of it and we need to be aware of it so that we can catch it and start telling ourselves, you start telling yourself what is actually going to get you closer to having the success. Wishing caregiving was easier will make it harder. The best news ever is understanding and accepting that caregiving will have hardships, that caregiving will come with challenges. As soon as you can accept that, caregiving becomes easier, because instead of resisting and getting down and feeling bad and frustrated that you're facing yet another challenge, it's almost like, oh yeah, it's caregiving. Oh, yep. This is what happens. This is what happens in caregiving. And from that space, you will be able to have so much more success. You will be able to have so much more comfort and peace. But you have to know the struggle is part of the process and you can grow through it. Grow through it. You can go through it, but really you are growing through it. And the majority of people never get through that phase. They stop. And that's the people who think it's hopeless and nothing is ever going to improve. And I don't care who you are and who your situation is and who you're caring for and whether that person's super difficult and they've never really been nice to you, you can find success in caregiving by growing through that struggle. And it has nothing at this point and at this stage, and what I'm talking about in this video, it has nothing to do with changing that person with dementia, changing the other people in your life, because if you haven't realized, that's really hard to do. But we can start by changing ourselves. And once we start making that change ourselves, that's when a lot of this other stuff falls into place. So many people just face that struggle and face that roadblock and then give up way, way, way too soon. So we have to understand, and here's another thing. This is not just for caregiving. This is true in everything in life. Maybe you are trying a new exercise routine. You're trying to learn a new language. Maybe you just signed up for my care course and you're trying to learn how to log in. There will be the struggle phase. Now, sometimes that struggle phase lasts 1 minute. And sometimes it will last 1 week, and sometimes it will last 1 month. And the things that we do in that struggle phase and the things we tell ourselves in our mind and how we talk to ourselves, that will determine whether or not we get to that ultimate success stage. Okay. That's what I have on this quick little Friday pop in. If you haven't been aware, for the month of April, every YouTube video I do that releases on Sunday will be on the topic of successful caregiving. And so as this was on my mind, I thought it would be nice to hop in and share these thoughts with you. For my care course members, we have a live Q&A happening in about 55 minutes for you to show up and ask whatever questions you have so we can work through them together. The link is in your email. For everybody else, I am wishing you a lovely Friday, a great weekend. I'm sending you so much love. And remember, wishing it was easier will make things harder. Understanding that there are just hardships and that's natural and that's part of the process will make things easier, right? Like there's one thing to hear it and there's one thing to understand it and like let it sink in and try to practice that through your life. Okay, sending you love. If you missed the beginning of this, no worry. You can watch the replay and go back. As soon as I hit end stream, it should process in a couple of minutes and you can watch the whole video. All right, I am sending you so much love. Hello, So Natural, Wellness, Bill Sullivan, Nicole Bryant. Thank you, thank you. Nicole says, there is a saying, if you are not part of the solution, you are part of the problem. For sure, it's huge mindset. Thanks for your videos. Absolutely. If all of a sudden somebody told me I can't teach anything except for one thing, I would teach the thing everybody thinks they don't need, which is mindset. Because without the right mindset, every single dementia tip, trick, strategy, and approach will be very short-lived and will not last, and there will be no success in caregiving because it's what we tell ourselves and how we show up that's going to determine whether those tips and tricks and approaches can ever work. Careblazer, I believe in you. You can do this. Okay, sending you love.